Hi to everyone. School of Engineering, Department of Mechatronics Engineering, online classes, subject analog devices and circuit. Okay. Unit number one, analog electronics. So last class we discussed the rectifiers, that is how to convert AC signal into DC, like that we discussed, and type of rectifiers we discussed. So in this class we are going to see about the regulated power supply. So that means, so when we go for the any circuit, we need a different types of models, the different types of voltage required. That is some circuit fixed power supply, some circuit required variable power supply. So like that. So for this purpose, we need to convert the AC signal into DC, as well as we need to change to the different power supplies. Okay, that is called a regulated power supply. Okay, so this is the basic format of RPS. Generally, we can say as the RPS. First, the AC line given to the transformer. Okay, that is given to the rectifier. So the rectifier always we know that converts AC to DC. Then it is given to the filter. So generally, filter is capacitor. We have different kind of filters, LC filters, RC filter. Okay, like that. Then it is given to the regulator. So regulator take the reference from the previous output, so it will show the DC, then it will be define the load. Okay, so that is regulator will define the output value. Okay, what output voltage required, 5 volt or 12 volt or 8 volt, like that it will be define the output. Okay, so first see the filters. So generally filter will be a capacitor. It is called a smoother. Generally it will be defined as the smoother. Okay, so that is, in order to minimize the ripple in the output, the capacitor C used in the filter circuit is quite large, of the order of the tens of microfarads. Okay, that means நமக்கு என்ன தெரியும்? So we have output like this. In full rectification, we have output like this. For these variations, it will be defined reduce the efficiency of the output. So we are going for capacitor. Will take this output into the small reference values. Okay. So during the first quarter cycle of the rectified output, the voltage obtained from the rectifier circuit, the capacitor C gets changed to peak value. Okay, next quarter cycle it will go to the rectifier output voltage shown dotted line decreasing, but capacitor change is charging up to the maximum value. Okay, always it is going for the charge. So capaciting charging process, it will be take the uh, mark in this output. Next one is induction or choke filter. So induction also it will be one part. That is, we know that it will store the energy in the electromagnetic. Same as here using the output. Okay, so inductor will load the always the maximum value and small variations. Okay. L section filter, CLC. That is simply we can say that two capacitor and one inductor. Here is a basic filter models. So let's see the regulated power supply model. So reason for output voltage variations. Variations in input voltage, increasing load, increasing temperature, fault, and circuit break. So these are the output variations. So generally, RPS were used for the power fluctuation units. Okay, sometimes we are giving 230 volt to the power supply, but you will get the 210 or 220. So it will be defined the different variations. So it will make more problem like this, increasing load, fault, circuit break, like this. So we are going for the RPS circuit. So the purpose of voltage regulator is to keep the voltage in the circuit relatively close to a desired value. Okay, that means if you are fixing 10 volt, so the circuit will be given 9 to 10. There is small variations only it will be there. So that is the main purpose of RPS. So this is the black diagram of voltage regulator. So unregulated voltage input given to the controller, then it is given to the sample circuit. It will be compare circuit using the reference signal. Okay, if you are taking the signal from the unregulated input, then sample. You are taking some samples from that, then you have to compare with the reference voltage. If it is same means you will get in the output, that is regulator power supply output. So types of regulator, that is a Zener diode voltage regulator, series voltage regulator, shunt voltage regulator. Okay, Zener diode as a voltage regulator. At this time of initiation, choose the Zener diode based on the voltage required. So construction of the voltage regulator is easy to with the help of an ideal Zener diode. So advantages and disadvantages of Zener diode. That is simply of design, low part count, low noise, low cost. Disadvantages, low efficiency, more required heat sinks. Next one is series voltage regulator. So this series voltage regulator or series pass voltage regulator uses the variable element placed in series with the load. By changing the resistance of the series element, the voltage dropped across it can be varied to ensure that the voltage across the load remain constant. The advantage of this series voltage regulator that the amount of current drawn is effective that used by the load. Okay, so this is the model of series voltage regulator. So advantages and disadvantage of serial voltage regulator. The series resistor causes the huge amount of power loss. The supply current flow will be more through the transistor that can be to be through the load. The circuit may have problems regarding over voltage miscaps. So these are the models used in the concept. These are the advantage and disadvantages. So next one, switched mode power supply. So that is so we can add different types of power supply in the SMPS. This is the main difference between the RPS and the SMPS. So RPS, if example, if you're using 0 to 30 volt means you can varying 0 to 30 volt as DC only. But in the SMPS, we can use as AC power supply, DC power supply, and a different power supply models. An electrical power supply that includes a switching regulator to convert electrical power efficiency. It transfers power from a source to a load while converting voltage and current characteristics. So in this circuit, the voltage regulation is achieved by the varying the ratio of on and off time. Okay, so what are the advantages of SMPS? That is lower weight, smaller size, high efficiency, low power dissipation, wide AC input voltage range, reduced cost. So disadvantages, complexity of the circuit. So this is the model of SMPS. That is main input given to the input rectifier and filter circuit. Then it is given to the chopper circuit, that is filters. Okay, then output transformer, then output rectifier and filter, then chopper controller. That is reference voltage comparator. So you will get the DC voltage, that is the SMPS model. These are output transfer models. So this is the circuit for the SMPS. So in the different levels. So these are the different models of SMPS used in the real-time world. Okay. So this is the power supply requirement for the analog electronics. Okay, when you go for Analog devices or analog circuits, we need a power supply requirement because நமக்கு வந்து ஒரு DC voltage DC voltage perfect வரணும் அப்படின்னா we need a RPS and SMPS. Okay. Okay. So we will end up this class. Next class we will start with feedback and power amplifiers. Thank you.